All right, we'll do some suggestion box. Let's do it. I actually got it ready. I prepared for this, just in case you guys wanted it. What's up, Jade? Good morning. Good to see you here, Jade. Welcome to the stream. I know yesterday you skipped all the React stuff. It's good to have you back today. All right, so we start off with a suggestion. I'm not going to read any names, so that way it avoids drama. But, I mean, this is a public post. Anyone could look it up if they wanted to. But I'm not going to read names on the stream just to avoid drama, all right? So, hello. Ready? So here comes the first suggestions. There's no need to recap the previous day on the podcast. We already have the daily wrap. Well, here's the thing. The daily wrap is a brief 5 to 10 minute video to very quickly recap what happened in the last day. So if you missed it, you go back and check it out. When I talk about the day before on the podcast, it's not the same segment. Yes, we're talking about the same topics, but it's more fleshed out. It gives a lot more supplementary info. Like, for example, today on this show, I explained the premise of DSP Throwback, all the work that's going into the standard videos that go there every day. Then I talked about the stream last night and how successful it was, why it's successful, even though it's not giant views, I still consider it successful, and talking about the future of it and the pull. I only talked about maybe 1/3 of that last night on the Daily Wrap, because the Daily Wrap is a fast video meant to just recap the day, get out of here, right? This is where you flesh it out for more in-depth discussion. And by the way, a lot of the times when we end up recapping what I did the day before here on the show, we end up getting into other topics or talking additionally about it, and that's good because it leads to other stuff. While there's no open discussion on the Daily Wrap is just me talking, done. Here on the podcast, it's different. There's back and forth. I see you guys responding live in the chat, and it allows me to have feedback and very critical input. That's why I like doing that on the show, okay? So I understand what you're saying. If you're someone who literally is sitting here watching all of my content, you might be like, well, that's repetition. Well, technically, there's a small amount of repetition in there. You're right. But I definitely feel like doing it on the show and then adding to it and extrapolating upon it and getting your immediate feedback on it is way more meaningful than me just talking to myself on the Daily Wrap and leaving it at that, okay? Here's the thing. Back in the day, you were right. I would agree with you. But here's the thing. Back in the day, I used to get tons of comments on videos. So I would do a video like the Daily Wrap, and I get 100 comments, and all of them would be constructive criticism and feedback. I don't get that anymore, right? Now I get most of my feedback right here on the stream. So if I don't mention something on the stream, I might never get feedback on it. So that's why I kind of have to talk about it on the stream the next day. I hope that makes sense, okay? Mentioning the schedule every podcast makes the first 10 to 15 minutes uninteresting. Well, first of all, I don't always do it at the first 10 to 15 minutes, but okay. Once at the start of the streaming week should be sufficient. Plus, schedule is here already, the schedule command. Okay, once at the start of the streaming week should be sufficient is completely wrong. The schedule changes constantly around here. Most of the time, the schedule that I have when I come back to work on Friday ends up not being the schedule that we have by the end of the week. Case in point, look at this week. We thought that there was going to be Dondoko Island Co-op all week. Guess what? It's already done. So now we got other things we need to figure out. If I don't mention that on the podcast, how will I figure out what you guys want for Tuesday night? You see? Already, there's your evidence that it makes sense to do it on the show. Now, I understand, again, if you're someone who's here literally every day, and you're an adamant watcher of all my content, oh, man, when he does the schedule, that's just repetition. Yes, but notice that sometimes the schedule changes. Sometimes I have to get your direct feedback on what I want to do for the schedule when it changes. This is critical to me. Again, the interaction that I get on the podcast is key constructive input and criticism that I use to improve my content every day. If I don't talk about these things on the podcast, I don't get feedback. Because again, not a lot of people leave comments on videos. If they did, that would be different. But that was different. Back in the day, I used to get tons of comments. Now I get almost none, right? So that's why it's critical to bring this stuff up on the show, okay? Fair enough. And by the way, the schedule command, half the time I forget to update it because I'm old and stupid. Right? I'm getting old and senile at 41 years old. I'm about to be 42. If I forget all this stuff when I'm 41, can you imagine how much I'm going to forget when I'm 42? There you go. 672 did a super chat. He says, everyone agrees that the schedule is redundant but you. How dare you speak to me that way in a disrespectful tone? I will now permanently ban you from my chat. Get out of here, 672. There you go. You're gone. It's funny because he thinks because he attached a super chat that he could just say whatever he wants. Well, you're absolutely right. No, I'm just kidding. For those who don't know, 672 and I razz each other back and forth. It's not serious. We're just messing around. It's funny, actually. I like having that little bit of camaraderie of razzing back and forth. Thank you, 672, for the super chat. Okay. Lest someone take it seriously and think that we're actually at each other's throats. We're not. We're just joking around. Okay. Before we continue on with any suggestions, a few more contributions have come in that I should shout out. So hold on a second here. Excuse me. Anime Slayer tipped $1. Disappointed that the Dondoko co-op is over because we did hype it up, and feeling that co-op should be two people playing together. Well, Dondoko can't be played together. And you're wrong, by the way. So what does the really word co-op mean? What is it short for? Cooperation, correct? Two people working in tandem to accomplish a common goal. So what was the co-op goal with Dondoko? Number one, to get further in that mode to unlock currency, so when I go back to the main game, we can continue on and buy better items and do basically what we're going to do tonight, go on like a spending spree. That was the first goal. The second goal was to essentially make entertaining content for you guys, right? So there's two goals. The two co-op goals, get as far into the mode as possible and make entertaining content. Well, because of Kat's expertise in the mode, we did turbo through it. Like, if I just played that for myself that first night, there was no way we would hit 2 stars in one night. That never would have happened. It's because she knew what she was doing. She knew the things to build, how to do it fast, where to run around, what to unlock quick. She knew how to do that, and it was her expertise in it that allowed us to succeed. And that first night was very successful when it came to entertainment value. The problem was, night 2 completely flipped it on its head. Night 2, it became more boring. It was the same grinding stuff over and over. Things weren't advancing as fast. We were getting tired. We were getting very bored with this and wished that we were doing something else. And honestly, I could tell she was getting fatigued from doing it and wasn't having a good time. If we're not having a good time doing co-op, there's no point to doing it. You understand? We're not putting entertaining content out if we're not, both of us are not enjoying it. So it's much better to observe that, acknowledge it, and adjust for it than to force yourself to continue with something that no one's enjoying. I don't feel like if we had kept doing the Dondoko Island co-op that it would have been enjoyable for anyone, because for us it would have been a boring grind, and to the viewers we wouldn't have been very happy. We wouldn't, really, if you take a look, essentially it wasn't even that entertaining that second half of that stream because we were so tired and annoyed at the game that we weren't having fun even talking with the audience anymore. And that's not the audience's fault. That's just the situation, right? In life, you acknowledge when something is not going so well, and then you adjust for it. If you ignore the problem, then the problem just gets worse, bubbles up, and extrapolates, and then maybe blow up. Why do another 2 streams of Dondoko Island co-op that we're not enjoying and you're not enjoying? What's the point, right? So, it is co-op. By the way, it's not like it was only one person doing it. Both times, I took over for her at one point and started doing the gameplay as well. If you want to be super stickler to say, well, no, you two weren't cooperating in the gameplay, that's not the definition of what a co-op stream is. I hate to tell you. But, yeah, I mean, there's other games that have co-op gameplay. We're just not doing them right now. And again, we've already discussed this, that some of the games you guys suggested, It Takes Two. She's not interested in that at all. She doesn't care about that game. Pal World, she does not like it at all. She watched me play it once. She was so bored. She's like, I would never want to do that. We're going to eventually probably get to a point where we find stuff where Kat will want to participate in, but we just haven't found it yet. Now, again, we've dabbled with the idea that perhaps she'd like to come in as a guest commentator on a night when I'm just doing regular Like a Dragon. Right? Maybe one of these nights I'll be saying it's a Like a Dragon night, and Kat will just appear and say, hey, I'm here. I just want to hang out and watch you play and do some commentary with you. Great. She's always welcome to do that, and I'm sure she'll let me know if she wants to do that. That's how we'll approach it. But, yeah, we're not going to force anything. We're not going to force content that's not good, because it's just not going to be good content. It's going to be shit. We're not going to pretend like we're liking a mode we don't like. We're not going to be overly with the audience when it's boring. We're not going to do that. We're not fake people. We're not people who put on a happy face and act like a character on a stream to make $1. We're real people. That's the difference. I mean, maybe you're so used to streamers who go on, oh, we're doing co-op time, and the whole night, oh, it's happy rainbows and unicorns and everything's so great. Everyone's having a great time. That's not us. We're real people. You're getting the real us on our streams. Okay, continuing on. Let's see here. I'm trying to understand this. Let me read it. It was a $1.99 tip from anonymous tipper. If you stop recapping on the show after the daily wrap, it encourages people to watch those old videos. Why watch it if you tell us everything? So what you're saying is, again, I'm trying to hammer this in to make sure I'm understanding it. Because on the next day's podcast, I'm telling you what happened the day before, you have no incentive to go watch it. I don't believe that at all, right? That would like be saying, so last night there was a new episode of The Boys. Now you have absolutely no idea what's on the show, so you're not checking it out yet. But then the next morning, everyone at the office is talking about last night's episode of The Boys and how exciting it was. So now you're enticed to go watch it. Right? If I hadn't mentioned today, wow, that Retro React stream last night was really good of Heavy Rain, you might be like, nah, I'll check it out when I get a chance. But now I'm talking about it. I'm saying, wow, it was really good. The feedback is outstandingly positive. Everyone says they loved it. They want more. Vote for what you want next week. You're tight. Oh my God, I want to go check it out now. Right? So I don't understand what you're saying there at all. I'm not literally sitting here for 2 hours in real time telling you moment by moment what happened. Right? If that was the case, that'd be different. But that's not what's happening, so I don't understand what you're saying. I don't know. Let's continue on.